We're on the line, along the path of recognizing just how frightfully in trouble we are with who's leading this country. Mm-hmm. It's time for our old game, Rook versus Kamala Harris.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we haven't played that in a long time.
I think the fans love that.
What should I do?
And you know how this works, Rook. You are the vice president.
Yep.
You are Mr. Vice President Matthew Mikulski. And you appeared this week at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, and you joined Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm at the University of Michigan professor Kyle White in a conversation on the climate crisis. In fact, you were there yesterday.
Yep.
You were at the university's Rackham Auditorium, and you.
He sounds surprised.
Very nice venue. Very nice venue.
How many days did you spend at the old Rackham?
Well, we rackhammered pretty good there.
And you, sir, were asked to describe the momentum of environmental advocacy as it is being spurred both by optimism and, of course, the fact that we're in environmental crisis. Mm-hmm. But your specific question is, could you describe the momentum of the environmental? Could you describe the momentum of yours and others' environmental advocacy as this country deals with both the optimism of your movement and, of course, the crisis we face? Mr. Vice President, I'll ask the question now officially.
Okay.
Mr. Vice President, could you describe the momentum of environmental advocacy as it is being spurred by both optimism and crisis?
The momentum of these environmentalists is overpowering. It's overpowering. They are in your face. They have statistics. They have a lot of momentum, unfortunately. I do not agree with what they say, that we are in a climate emergency, that there's they
use the word crisis. Sir.
Crisis, okay, that there's an end date down the road here where the entire Earth will implode. So, personally, I believe that the Earth is bigger than these environmentalists and these activists, and I think they're wasting a lot of time, even though they have great numbers and such. I want them to come to the realization that nature is bigger than man, and that the climate is changing, but it's not because of the cars we drive, the paper we recycle, or the type of gas that we burn.
Very good.
So I would tell them, yes, they do have momentum, but it's misguided. They're going nowhere.
It's a very interesting answer, sir, given the forum would have anticipated that you would have been fully on board with your environmental advocacy and acknowledging a terrible crisis. I commend your independence of thought on this.
Thank you.
But the boos right now coming from the crowd.
Yeah, it's a tough crowd. Tough crowd, but this is a tough position to be in. When you are in this situation,
right,
you have to...
it's not easy being the vice president, is it, Mr. Vice President?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I have the Corvette, the paperwork in my garage.
I tell you.
No, that was a different vice president,
sir. Oh, that's
sir.
the future. Okay.
Gotcha.
That's
that was the past.
That's right.
That was the past. Okay, now that's Rook versus Kamala Harris. Here's Kamala asked
Would you please ask the current vice president the same question?
Madam Vice President, could you please describe what you believe to be the momentum of environmental advocacy as it is being spurred by both optimism and crisis?
I think of this moment as a moment that is about great momentum, inspired by, yes, optimism, inspired by a crisis, no doubt, but inspired by also our collective ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And that's critically important.
It's critically important.
Rook wins hand down.
Not
hands
even
down.
close.
Okay. Not even close.
Not even
close.
Nope.
Was it close? Not even.
You are a better vice president than Kamala Harris.
Wow, I'll take the gig.
Yeah.
I'll take the gig.
There was another question, too.
She is certifiably and medically convicted of idiocy.
Idiocy, yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't there also another question, Mr. Speaker, about the Caribbean nations? that you
Well,
wanted
I
to ask?
believe she. You're catching me a little bit off guard, but you asked the question of the
I
vice
certainly
president.
can. If you don't mind.
I
If
don't
you
mind at all. No, you-
acquiescing
And
that
I'm
time.
not the speaker. I'm just a moderator.
The
at-
moderator,
at
I'm sorry.
Rackham Auditorium.
Point of privilege. Point of privilege.
Point of privilege. Harumph.
If I'm asked, I would rather be asked questions by the mayor of Garage Logic only. and not-
So I'm to ask Rook what?
Well, you can
go ahead. Ask me, go
the troublesome storms that we've been having over a period of years, Mr. Vice President Mikulski. Several areas have been greatly damaged, affected by these storms, including the Caribbean nations. And some of those people just haven't had the ability to regroup and rebuild. Do you have any thoughts about that part of our world?
It's a part of the world that's been involved with typhoons, hurricanes, since 4.5 billion years.
Sure.
And unfortunately, they're in a track of the hurricanes. There's nothing you really can do. You can't stop it. You can try to help build better framework, but that's up to that country. That country has to take it upon themselves to make sure they're building, maybe not necessarily with OSHA requirements, but a stable apartment building, hotel, etc. And truth be told, as harsh as it may seem and such, they just need to up their game a little bit. They need to pull up their bootstraps.
Sure.
What's that song?
Lift yourself
Dust
up.
me off, lift yourself off.
Dust
Yep.
yourself
Dust
off.
yourself
Take a
off.
look around.
Take a look around.
Yeah. Start all over
Start
again.
all over.
Start all over.
It's a harsh reality. There's no plus side to it other than they have to take responsibility and be big boys or be big countries and
Big country. Oh.
and such. And we're at the mercy of nature again. When's the next one going to hit? We
Mr.
don't
President, if I
Mr.
may,
Vice President.
Not yet.
Mr.
Not yet.
Vice
Let's not speed
President,
ahead yet.
Mr. Vice President, if I may, do you feel it's the job or duty of the United States and the taxpayers to enable this sort of what do we call it? Rebuilding
of the infrastructure.
Yes, thank you.
I think we can offer a couple of hammers, some nails, maybe some lumber. Get a couple of
Get Fred Aloni involved?
Some repurposed 2x4s.
Yeah, get a couple of union guys to zip down there and say, "Here's what you're doing here, Tiger. We're going to put this thing together."
One more question, Mr. Vice President. What, if any, does OSHA, what do they have to do with building codes?
Well, OSHA is the proper facilitator and such to make sure that things are done properly, done well, and such.
Well, that's a wrong answer, Mr. Vice President.
I
It's
don't hear you anymore. You must be.
It's Mr. Vice President. It slipped my mind. What exactly does OSHA stand for? That's an acronym, is it not?
Occupational Hazard.
Oh, that's S. You missed the S.
Occupational Safety Hazard.
Dukes of Hazzard.
No H in
OSHA Association.
There you go.
That's fine.
Close enough. Close enough.
Madam Vice President.
Dukes of Hazzard, he says.
Madam Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Your views on the Caribbean.
I convened, and I've convened now at least 3 times, a group that has their acronym CARICOM. It is the Caribbean nations, island nations. In the Western Hemisphere, that is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors.
Wow.
Rookie wins again.
She had to explain that.
That is the worst condescension I've ever.
Is that when you talk down to people?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the part, though, that she's nodding. They're in the Western Hemisphere, and she's nodding as if,
Nobody knows.
you
Get
didn't
it?
know that.
Get it? Get it? Yeah.
If you ever saying, think about it from a global perspective, which is not only what we do, we have a responsibility to do within our country,
Won't let you
but
have to.
globally, Well, it just goes on and on. Her appearance at Rackham Auditorium at Michigan was well covered, and there's quite a bit of audio from her. But once again, Mikulski versus Harris proves that Rookie is
No contest.
is a better more gifted vice president.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, than this certified idiot.
Can you imagine this? I'm sorry, that slipped out by accident. This country finally gets around to electing a female vice president, and they opt for the dumbest person on the planet.
Isn't that something?
That's amazing to me.
It really is. It really is.
So many brilliant minds out there, and we got that.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on. I always love to play Rookie versus Kamala. You've not lost yet.
No, and you know what? I have not previewed those questions.
No, you haven't.
They're just thrown at me, and I just give you what I got.
And you handle it the way of yes, you in the back.
Yes, please.
Hank Johnson,
Yes.
Yeah, Hank.
in 2008,
Yeah.
received 224,492 votes, which was 99.91% of the vote. He ran unopposed.
Goodness.
Wow.
Goodness.
You just looked like you were too good at
And we're supposed to take this country. We're supposed to take these people seriously.
I was scrolling up while I was playing Kamala. I went, you got to be S-ing me. What?
It's everywhere you look under the theme of everything's upside down. There was some certified idiot, medically qualified for idiocy, on CNN who said a gas stove in your house is like a car running in your house. Well, it isn't. It isn't anything like that. But we're supposed to take. I come in here every bleeping day, and I'm supposed to take these people seriously? These people are idiots.
I misspoke. He also ran unopposed in 2008.
No, I don't think it's necessarily unrelated to point out my growing fascination. Fascination might be too strong a word. My growing interest in the whole alien unidentified aerial phenomenon
Stuff
that we have going on. And I predict, I was talking to Ken